Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we're checking out the one thing Americans will never understand the Dutch are great at. Ooh, what are they great at? Great at, I don't know, but I want to find out. So before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, let's find out.
All right, so I've been back in the States for about 2 weeks now, and I can wholeheartedly say that there is one thing that the Dutch are just experts at. Pimping, the majority of Americans don't have a clue about, like, for real.
Well,
Okay, real quick, gotta give a huge shout out to Sunrise Resorts. Thanks so much for having us. It's been great. Today's our last day here, and it is time for us to head back to the Netherlands. TSA is always a pain, especially when you travel with kids. Pimp. Pimping, and we are back home, man. Back in the Netherlands, and man, I'm not gonna lie, it feels good. And now, if you didn't know, me and my wife took the kids and we were in Florida for about 2 weeks. I mean, back to the USA. And again, it was cool. Like, it was nice. We saw family. And yeah, it was legit. It was fun. I got to hug the block a bit in a car. The food was amazing. And overall, it was just, I mean, convenience stores, pimping. Convenience stores. It was just, it was cool, but it was a bit weird. Like, it was definitely a culture shock, which is strange because it's not like I've never been to America. My whole life was in America. But after being here for almost 2 years now and then going back to the States, there are some things that were just a bit weird. And it's funny seeing these things now, considering I've been in the States like my whole life. Matter of fact, I can wholeheartedly say that I would not have seen these things if I didn't live in the Netherlands. Like, pimping the Netherlands spoiled me. But yeah, there were just a bunch of things that were kind of weird, but don't get it twisted. This ain't a diss track on America. Like, ain't nobody even going that far. So no need to get all touchy and be pulling up in the comments unless you want the smoke. But you already know I'm a thug and you don't want this problem. But yeah, the States were a bit weird, and I think it started with transportation. And not for nothing, it's pretty funny that I'm walking by a bunch of bikes and we're talking about transportation. But yeah, I will have to say that transportation was a bit weird. Like, not for nothing, you have to drive everywhere. And now, don't get me wrong, like places like New York and maybe downtown Chicago, you don't have to drive around those places. Pimpin', I've been to a lot of states, and yeah, you gotta pretty much drive. If you don't have a car, you can't do like nothing. And now you could Uber, but I'm gonna be honest, that gets expensive quick. The country as a whole is just made for cars. It's cars first, people's well-being and time, that's later. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking driving, but it just kills me that you have to do it. Like, versus like living here, the public transportation is good. You can literally bike like anywhere. But if you wanna just relax and take a stroll like your boy Sky Money, that's cool too. And what's crazy is I love driving, but I just hate it that you have to drive. Like, I hate not having the option of anything else. What I love about the Netherlands is that biking is like normal. Biking, scootering, whatever. It's normal and anybody could get a bike. Like, it's not a huge expense. Like, for real though, anyone can get access to a bike. Oh shoot, you know what? I forgot to shout out the people who sponsored the Man, okay, we gotta give a huge shout out to everybody who bought me a cup. Paul Anthony and Tim Rayner, you guys are some bosses. White Noise, you are up there too. You are a double boss. And then also my mama. Oh, mama, why you buying me coffee? Like, you don't need to buy me a coffee. Again, a huge shout out to everybody who bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. And if you want to buy me a coffee, pimpin', don't be shy. The link is down below. If not, you already know I ain't a hater. My hood never let me be a hater. No tea, no shade. We are good Gucci. And now let's get back to the things that kind of weirded me out, my culture shocks of going back to America. Because while we're hugging the block outside, the biggest one had to be that there was no one outside, like nobody. And this really threw me off, especially coming from the Netherlands. Like, it threw me off that, like, you're going to Florida, the weather is nice, and no one's outside, like nobody. Like, come on, that's weird, right? Like, right? Like, it is such a strange thing. Like, people would rather sit indoors, sit inside coffee shops, sit inside restaurants. Meanwhile, it's
Well, maybe everybody's just scared that they're gonna get abrupt and they're like, no, thank you, I'll just be indoors.
like it's gorgeous outside, like almost every day. And it's really threw me coming from a culture where everybody's always outside. And then when the sun's out, people are just turned up. And Pippin, I'm not even joking, they turned up on a Tuesday at like 11 a.m. Like, I realized the only time that you see people outside is if they go to like a specific destination. Like somewhere like the beach or like the downtown Riverwalk. If they not hugging the block over there, they ain't outside. Like, look, not for nothing, me, my wife, and my son, we took walks almost every day. And we even went to like parks and things, like just local neighborhood parks. And then you don't see nobody outside walking. You don't see kids outside playing. You don't see parents outside playing with the kids. Like, you might see a couple of people hugging the block, like just like a sprinkle of people hugging the block if they're like walking their dog. They take their dog, walk them around the block, and go right back in the house. And again, Florida is nice. Like, the weather is nice. It ain't like the hood of Chicago where you ain't got no grass. There's grass everywhere. But again, no one goes outside. So coming from a place where I'm so used to seeing people outside like everywhere, like every day, it was definitely a culture shock just because I felt like I was wrong. Like, I felt like I was the weird one because I just wanted to go out and take a walk or take my son to the park. Like, or maybe it is me. Maybe I'm the weird one. Like, maybe I'm just tripped. But yeah, that was just something else, just realizing that no one goes outside. Oh man, I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but I freaking love fall. Fall, hands down, is the boss's season. Like, it's the season for bosses. No, but seriously, no, it's my favorite time of the year. Oh man, I'm just so happy, man. Like, for real, I am so happy to be back. Man, and just to be making videos, man, it feels amazing. But yeah, the biggest thing had to be that everyone's life revolved around work. Like, work is who you are. Like, work is your identity. And again, Pimpin, I used to be like that. Again, I used to identify with my job. Like, my job was straight up my identity. It was my everything. It was my purpose. It was my reason. It was everything. And I'm not saying your job or your career is not important. One thing I did notice about here is that it is not like that. Like, it's just people's job is not their identity. Like, for real, there's really nothing wrong with identifying yourself with your job. Especially, like, if you really like your job, then pimp it. Like, if you love what you do, pimp it. Yes. But, though, I can't say that should be a fine line. That should be something that you are cautious about. Like, I feel like your job shouldn't be your purpose or your reason for, like, living, your reason for getting up every morning. But yeah, when I was in the States, I realized that that's what everybody talked about. That was everybody's, like, thing. Like, the thing that you go out and hang out and talk about was your job. And it's just not like that here. And I think I know why. And I think I know why it shouldn't be like that. And you know what? Let me post up and tell you why. All right, so about I would say almost 3 years ago, before I moved to the Netherlands, I was living in Los Angeles. The pandemic just happened, plus my company just merged. Just because Disney just merged with Fox, and basically Disney owns like everything now. And the entire time I worked in LA, I had a friend, like he was my best friend. Matter of fact, he's the guy that I talked about who drove me to and from work when I ruptured my Achilles tendon. And guys, when I say this, I really mean it. He was the nicest person I have ever met in my life. Like, he was a little too nice, like way too nice. He just loved everybody. Like, he remembered everybody's birthday. He would buy things for them on their birthday. And I don't mean just in my department, but since we were at a studio lot, we had security at the studio, and this man would buy the security stuff for that. Like, he remembered their birthdays too. That's gangster. Not only was he nice, not only did he just remember everybody's birthday, but he loved the company. So now the pandemic happened, and I still remember, since he lived right across the street from me, he needed some help putting together his desk as well as his chair. So I would go over, we would social distance, we would wear masks, and I put together his desk and his chair for him. 'Cause we boys, we homies. Like, for real, this dude's my best friend. I will pull up on anybody for him. And I still remember this, like 2 days after putting together his desk and his chair so that he can comfortably work from home, I was sitting at the table working when I got a phone call from him, from my best friend. And I remember his voice. I remember how it sounded. Like, it was like shaky. So after like 2 seconds of just hearing his voice, I remember I asked, like, dude, are you okay? Do you need me to come over? Do I need to bring the smoke? You know everybody can get it. He said, nah, but I'm not great. So I asked him what was wrong, and I still remember this was one of the hardest things for me to hear. And with his voice shaking, you could hear some tears coming out, he had told me that he just got fired.
I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
What?
And y'all, when I tell y'all like he had just got fired, like guys, it's not like he was just started like 2 years ago or 5 years ago. He's been there for over 20, maybe close to 30 years. He gave this company so much. Like he gave his all. Like that was his life and he loved it. And he just gave so much of himself to this company. And with just a click of a button and a read through a quick email, like he didn't even get a phone call. Like he just got an email basically saying that he is let go. He is no longer needed at the company. Until this day, it made no sense. He worked extremely hard. And when I mean hard, I mean he would come in at like 10 and sometimes he won't leave until 5 a.m. and then come back in again at 10. So he had amazing work ethic. He also was just amazing with people. He did his job extremely well as like taking on other jobs. He just did it all. After all these years, they just let him go. This is the perfect time to tell you guys what Americans don't understand, that the Dutch get and understand very, very well. And that's the value of time and living your life. And you just see it, like you totally see it when you live here. Like yeah, there's people who work a lot, there's people who like have to hustle, but for the most part, these same people understand the value of time and living your life. They also understand the value of family and friends. Like they get it. Like even just being back, the energy's different here. Like I'm telling you, it's not just about work. Work is not the most important thing in the world to these people. And I don't know if you could tell yet where I'm going with this, but yeah, work shouldn't be your everything.
Okay.
But yeah, again, I completely understand why most Americans don't get it. Like Pimpin', I totally get it, and I'm not like faulting anybody for it. I just noticed that the values here are very different than the values over there. The Dutch value their time and living their life, while us Americans tend to find our self-worth in our work. And when doing that, we tend to basically value all the wrong things but ourselves, our time, and just living our lives, and even our family and friends. Like I think that's something that I'm happy that I was able to learn while being here. But yeah, that was my trip to the States. I learned a lot. I was really shocked. Like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, just the simple fact that nobody goes outside, like that is a trip to me. Like, but anyway, Pimpin', I think I talked enough. I gotta go run a couple of errands. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Huge shout out to everybody who bought me a coffee. So sorry I didn't mention y'all in the last video, but thank you so much for the coffee. If you wanna buy me coffee, Pimpin', don't be shy. The link is down below. And if not, y'all already know I ain't a hater, but just remember, like, if you don't remember anything from this video, it is this. Just remember this. Always remember, no matter what you have or what you're doing, you are the drip. You be the drip. You are the value, not the things that you own. Like Pimpin'. Just remember that. And just like keep that in mind, okay? But yes, Pimpin', I will see you in the next one. All right, so
Okay, well, I really like this video. And talking about buy me a coffee, this video definitely wants to buy me a coffee from. Let me get it because I don't want to make a mistake. I think I know who, but I don't want to make a mistake. Obviously, it is Jose Antonio, the person who always buys us a coffee for this video. So thank you as well. I always reply to the coffees and I thank him. And yeah, so since he mentioned it, I wanted to mention that as well. But anyways, this video was so freaking good as always. I love the style of video because he catches you off guard with his close-up shots and you're like, excuse me, sir. And then change the angle. So you're kind of like, even if it's a boring format type of video, he doesn't make it boring because he's always like, the editing style is what keeps you entertained. So anyways, beautiful peeps, yeah. I hope we can live our life more like the Dutch. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.